for today, which I believe was emailed out to you. It's also on your screen for the most part. There's the bulk of our agenda. Anyone against the agenda as it's set right now? Oh wait, what am I trying to do? Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
I second.
Thank you. Second. Okay, anyone against approving the agenda? Okay, then that motion passes.
Who seconded?
Panic. P-A-N-N-E-K.
Okay, so moving on to, do we have a vote to approve the meeting minutes from our April meeting?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve. This is Lindsay.
Okay, Lindsay, second.
I'll second. Hardigan.
Okay. We'll let the announcement go by.
Please contact your front office as soon as possible. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have our, let's vote to approve meeting minutes for 4/28. Do we have anyone against approving the meeting minutes? Okay, then that motion passes. And we can move on to public comment. Dr. Shaw, do you have anything?
I just checked it, ma'am, and there's nothing there.
Nothing there? Okay. And it looked like Lee is joining us just now, so. Perfect timing. Do you have any public comment?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay. Then we will move on to, I guess we have no students, so we'll skip student update and principal update. Dr. Shaw.
All right, I do have some things. Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. All right, a couple of things. First off, today we had our first school-wide presentation from Kit Cummings, who we've talked about. Several members here, and Ms. Hills, who's visiting us, were instrumental in getting this done. Governance Council supported it. So it was good. You know, we had a lot of feedback from teachers that it was positive. You know, I don't know how many kids outside the building logged in. I hope there were some. We did make it required, but you know, it is what it is. But it was a good seed to plant, and I think his message was fantastic, and I think we are going off to a good start. He has already set it up with Coach Pruitt to work with the football team this summer. So, you know, I think it was a good start, and it was a great message and good to hear, especially at this time of year. So as you may or may not have heard, Sagana Ponder, our assistant principal, is leaving, and it is not appropriate for me to talk about personnel other than to share with the Governance Council that we have started the interview process, and that's really all I can say. This is a board decision. We're fortunate to have some really good candidates, and when it's appropriate to share it publicly, we certainly will. But at this time, just to let you know that we are looking for a replacement. I shouldn't say replacement. You can't replace Ms. Ponder, but somebody to take over as the next AP. So that is ongoing. I had a question from a parent today, actually, about grading, and I neglected to send this out in my weekly update today, but I'm going to do an addendum to it. I know the staff has learned that for the most part, the grading that we did this year has been put on hold by the district. So next year, no incompletes. It's going to be a traditional grading platform, I guess you could say. Zeros, no 80%, you get credit for the course, none of that. Now, with that being said, the district has put it on pause for two reasons. One is there was some definite feedback from administrators and teachers, and two is they want to include the mostly the teachers to get some feedback and look at implementing a new policy for the following year that is a little more thought out and has some more buy-in. So for next year, return of a more traditional, there's a few changes, recovery policy, et cetera, but the incompletes, and if you do 80%, you get credit for the course, that is not going to happen for next year. And I will share that information with the community when I do my next email. We had talked about the idea of doing an incomplete camp, and after looking into it, it's just not possible, and there's a few reasons. One, there's really no way to do it with our student information system. And at first you think, as I did, well, that should be something that we can work past, but you really can't. The reason being is you can only post to transcripts one time. So if we did seniors, we'd have to hold up everybody's transcript until we got done with that camp, and we can't really do that. If we posted, then we'd have to go back and manually update every single transcript of the kids who did the camp, and that's not possible. Then we had forgotten about construction, So we're not going to have access to almost all of our building. So the incomplete camp, it was a great idea on paper, but when you got into the weeds a little bit, it just wasn't possible. So I appreciate this group being willing to support it. Again, it was a great idea in theory, but it's just something we couldn't do. As we approach the end of the year, so seniors are done. We still have some folks who are trying to get those last grades in, and our staff has done a great job working with them. We're trying to get as many of them across the finish line as we can. Our staff has really gone above and beyond to support them, so I really appreciate them. But tomorrow is senior clearance, and that's when the seniors come in and basically, if they owe us something, give it back, because we really need our stuff back. Graduation practice is Friday, and then of course graduation is Monday evening at 8 o'clock at Ameris Bank Stadium. For the 9 through 11, they're finishing up. They will start their final summative assessments if they have to take them Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. I think that's right. And then they're done as well. And believe it or not, this school year will come to an end. So it certainly had its ups or downs, but you know, as I reflect, there's a lot of things that, you know, we struggled with, but out of everything bad, something good comes out of it. And I'm going to share that at a meeting later, because I got a lot of feedback from staff as I did end of the year conferences about some good things that happened this year, and there was many. I want to thank our sports team for a great spring. We had so many of our teams make it to the state playoffs. Girls soccer went to Final Four. Track had a great showing at the state track meet at McEachern this weekend. Boys golf made it to the state tournament for the first time in a number of years. So, you know, a lot to be proud of. Band had their concert last night, so their first concert, which was really good. Their second concert, the second half, will be Thursday night. I also want to talk very quickly about masks. That seems to be a question that I get quite a bit, which I really appreciate. You know, regardless of what the CDC or whomever has said, you know, we are under the dictates of Fulton County Schools, and even some neighboring districts has backed off on the masks. But for right now, we are inside, not outside, but inside. We are being asked to continue to wear our masks, and as that is the policy, we will continue to support it here. And for the most part, the kids have been pretty compliant. We catch them and we address it, and I want to thank the staff for doing that as well. So that is the gist of my update. Other than the last thing I want to add is I've fallen down on the job. I was supposed to think about at least and approach some people about being nominated for some of the appointed positions for next year, and I haven't done that yet. But I will hope to do so before our next meeting and have that ready to go for the new school year, which really starts July 1. So that being said, does anybody have any questions for me or anything that they want to ask? And I'll be happy to answer or get some information for you.
I have a question, Dr. Shaw.
Okay, who is that?
You've lots of questions. Well, this is Mrs. Hardigan. My question is, could you very briefly explain the options for kids who do not get credit? It's so confusing for us, like with the summer school, the recovery, the repair. Like, do you know what I'm saying? There's so many options.
Yeah, well, there are. So first of all, if you are a senior and as of today, you have not finished, we did take some kids and put them in Edgenuity if they were close. So the idea is they can finish up that credit in Edgenuity and get them across the finish line. There's not a lot of those, a handful. I hate to use a number because I could be wrong, but I think it's about 10. The other option is summer school. Now that's where it gets a little confusing, Ms. Hardigan, because summer school can be just go and clear incompletes and then you're done. Some kids have to take the class. They can do it in person at Alpharetta, or they can do it on Fulton Virtual. We've already signed up a lot of kids for summer school. So the Edgenuity is a quick fix. They're close, but not there. Get them across the finish line. The biggest thing we're using is summer school. That can be virtual, that can be face-to-face, that could be clearing incompletes, or it could be taking up to 2 classes that they need to graduate, or for the younger kids to get back on track. Does that help a little bit?
It does. I just also want to clarify, when the kids are clearing incompletes from our classes, they are using Edgenuity. They're not like, are we going to be like I know that like Miss Kirk has sent me a list, like, you know, has so-and-so finished this from first semester, and technically it comes back to me to grade it. So are we providing a list for the summer and it's coming back to us, or does it all switch over to Edgenuity now?
I don't know, Jenny. I probably should. You're really asking how they're doing summer school, right?
Well, yes, because I understand regular summer school. What I'm unsure about is the clearing of incompletes, because it said, like, you know, if a kid is missing 4 assignments from my class, am I responsible for providing those 4 assignments and then grading them at some point?
Yeah,
That's
I
the
don't know-
question people have.
That's a great question, and honestly, I don't know the answer, but I will reach out to Jennifer Beard, who is the person at the district who's spearheading this and taking it over. So I will ask.
That would be great, because I think some of us are like, how is that happening? And that it's just out of curiosity, because I know this year, like some kids were still turning in things even after the March 31st deadline from the first semester,
Yeah.
and we are expected to grade it and get that information to Miss Kirk. So that's where I think people are just confused, because it will be summer at this point. So
Yep. No, let me ask and
thank
find
you,
out,
sir.
and I will let you know. And that's a great question. So I will get on that tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good question. Other questions, or I think there were some other folks.
Hey, Dr. Shaw, it's Darlene Trigg. How are you?
It's Trig. I'm doing well. How are you, ma'am?
Wonderful, wonderful. My question is, and I may have missed it. Came in a little late. I was picking up yearbooks. Will the grading for next year be standard in that homework will count and all those other, like it's not just the summative assessments, but it's
Yes.
formative, it's homework, it's blah, blah, blah.
Yes, ma'am. It is all of that. So the district has set homework at 15%, and then there's a major category and a minor category. So, and I don't have it, I don't want to be to quote too much and have it wrong, because I don't know it off the top of my head, but I'm going to send that out. Like I said, I don't know if you heard this, Ms. Trigg, but I had a parent approach me today who was very confused because people were saying, oh, we're doing incompletes next year. And then I realized that while the board had voted on this and sent it out, not everybody's getting board emails. So I'd sent it to the staff, but I will certainly send it to our community tomorrow. So yeah, the short answer to your question is yes, homework will count, which I appreciate, because originally they set it to 0, which, you know, I think was problematic for a lot of us. But so that's I'll share all that tomorrow, and
Okay.
you'll be able to see it. It's a great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any of the staff members here, do you remember, because I sent it out on Monday, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it. Does anybody remember like what the categories were or anything like that?
They are major and minor, and homework, but I don't remember the breakdown.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. Well, I'll share that, Ms. Trigg, because I just kind of made the assumption, which I shouldn't have done, that since the board had done it, that parents were in the know. But, you know, I will certainly send it out and make sure people are aware of what the grading policy is for next year. Other questions? All right. Well, thanks, y'all. I will mute myself, and I appreciate everybody's support. And if you have any questions, of course, I'm just an email away. But thanks, y'all.
Okay, next on our list is the surveys. Did you guys have a chance to take those, the council self-assessment and principal survey? Sorry, I gave you a short timeline on that. It does sound like they're still accepting it, even though they originally said it was due right after our last meeting, because they're sending out more reminders. So if you haven't done that, let me know and I'll send you the links again to those, and we'll see if those will go through. But they just want us to make sure we get that done as well. Next, Dr. Shaw mentioned this, appointees. We don't really have an update. We kind of threw out some ideas as to where he could approach people, I think, last meeting. So we will get that figured out by our final meeting and get that voted on as well. So the big thing that we need to discuss is the remaining charter funds. So as of right now, this is the latest from Brenda as to where we are. If I can draw this over to my shared screen. For this week. So we had our $30,000 that they gave us, and then our carryover of $60,000.
All we see is a cute little kid, and you got to tell us who that is.
Oh, really? You don't see? Oh, it's my nephew, but
Okay. Yeah, we don't see you, but the kid looks happy, so thanks. Good for the nephew.
I wonder why it's not
Laura,
shared.
I can see it.
You can see it?
Yeah.
I can see it. I can see your numbers. I
You got
saw
it?
the kid and now I see the numbers.
Now you see the number. Oh, so maybe it was just on a delay as I dragged it over. Okay. So there's the breakdown of all the funds that we spent. The 3 in green, I have to remember what that is. I think they haven't been purchased yet, but they have been removed from our total. So that where it says remaining 12,736 and 85, that includes that is after those 3 things have been taken. And so the billboards thing on here is actually something that we need to vote on, but that is something that the school has purchased for the seniors, to recognize the seniors. It's something we started last year. And since SGC had the money, the thinking is that we could pay for those, and that could count as part of our communication, part of our strategic plan, and help to support that aspect of it. So any questions about that one? Okay, because we can vote on that in just a minute. But the big thing is the remaining $12,736 or whatever that exact amount is what are we going to do with that? And so what we ended up doing, and I don't remember who all was involved in this conversation, but Verinda and I sent out a form to Verinda, the bookkeeper, and I sent out a form to teachers just seeing if there were extra needs, and not worrying about the whole application form as much as just fill out this quick Microsoft form. And so we have a list of things that teachers would like to support instruction in their classroom. And it's a lot of things like, or actually I think I have that Excel spreadsheet up as well. Let me see if this will drag over, if you get to see my nephew again. So those are some of the things that either we couldn't order or we did not feel would necessarily go towards instruction. So I'm going to contact these people and say we don't think we can do that. But the things up here are additional things that we thought we could use some of these school governance funds for. So things like Japanese readers and some kind of textbooks for them, or some novels for the Spanish classes, some things for orchestra. Some things for JROTC, shelves for Mr. Phillips to put his 3D printers on, things like that. So that total right now comes to, let me see where that is. I think it's at the top of this page. 12,007, wait. I'm trying to read this thing. Either way, we have about 200, that would leave us with about $276 left if we cover all of these. So the two things that I'm thinking, that I'm proposing that we spend the remaining money on is the $7,000 or so for the billboards to congratulate the seniors. That would fall under communication, strategic plan, and then just kind of a bulk 13,000 or so for teacher resources to support instructions. And then we can go ahead and from this list work from there to fulfill that. Any thoughts?
I'm glad that teachers responded with needs, and that we're able to spend the dollars to get teachers things that they need in their classroom.
Okay. And I think that's kind of where I was too. We have this money, we want to make sure that we're spending it and using it, and we actually did get a response this time. And I think maybe not doing the big long application and just having a quick, hey, fill out this form. I can't guarantee you'll get it, but just let us know if you have something. I think that helped as well.
Thank you for sending that out.
You're welcome. It was a quick little form, and Verinda's done a lot of work to this too. So we do need to, if you see her, if you run into her, thank her for some of this, because she's put a lot of time and effort into sorting through these things and seeing what was even feasible to order this late in the year. Because there were a lot of limitations for what she is able to order right now. So if there is no more discussion, then we can move to voting on these two things. So any final thoughts? Okay, then I would ask if there's a motion for spending $7,050 for billboards congratulating the seniors. Do we have a motion?
I'll give a motion.
Okay, Darlene, thank you. Do we have a second?
Ponick will second.
Okay, thank you. Let's vote on spending $7,050 for billboards congratulating seniors. Do we have anyone against? Okay, then that motion passes. And second vote, our action item. Do we have a motion to spend about 13,000 or whatever's remaining of our money for teacher resources to support instruction.
I'll make a motion. Kirsten Ponick.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
I'll second. Hardigan.
Hardigan, thank you. So let's vote. Do we agree to spend 13,000 or so for teacher resources to support instruction? Anyone against? Okay, then that motion passes as well, and I will make sure that that paperwork gets filed and that we get started on purchasing those items. So, final discussion item is new member transition. We talked about a little bit of this last week as well. I think I kind of dropped the ball for cleaning up our OneDrive folder and making sure that that was set up, but I should have time in the next week to make sure that we get that done. So I will work on getting that cleaned up and making sure that everyone who needs to is added to that as well. And what do you have? Celebrate members who are rolling off. I believe those of us who are rolling off would be myself, Val Pettit, Dr. Williams. Is your term up as well? Mm-hmm. Yes, and that might be it. So at least, oh, and Dylan is as well, and he's not here either. So next meeting will be our last meeting, and then you guys will get to take over along with our new appointees that we should have set for our next meeting as well. And then we also wanted to thank our student leaders, but they're not here as well either. So they're seniors and I think ready to graduate. So if anyone sees them, thank them as well for their contribution if you see them.
I did get a couple of certificates from the county to give to them, which I gave them this morning. So we had a little, Ms. Hardigan organized a little breakfast for our senior class officers. And of course, Haley and Kirsten were part of that. So they did get a nice little certificate from the county for their service on the governance council. So it was good.
Oh, good. Okay. That's good to know. So our final thing is to set agenda items for our next meeting on June 23rd. I see them at 4 o'clock. And Dr. Shaw, are we still virtual for everything at this point, as far as you know?
Yes, ma'am. I haven't heard anything different. So that is a yes, ma'am.
With construction and everything anyway, it's probably a good idea. So the one thing that I know we need to talk about is voting on appointees at our next meeting and getting that settled. So we're ready to start the new year. We will touch base about the new member transition as well. And is there anything else that you guys can think of that we need to add to the agenda? And I'll add anything else Hannah tells me to add as well. Okay. Well then, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Before we do that, may I just say, I just want to thank all of you educators and administrators and staff for all that you did. This was a really, really difficult year. Not only personally, right? It's a pandemic, but professionally and everything that you've had to endure and pivot 1 second to the next. It's been crazy. I can't even imagine how you all really just made lemonade out of really sour lemons. So thank you from the bottom of my heart as a parent.
Thank you. Definitely been an interesting year, that's for sure.
For sure.
Okay, well then, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Got a quick meeting in.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. This is Lindsay.
Thank you, Lindsay. Do we have a second?
A second.
Okay, thank you. So let's vote on adjourning the meeting. Anyone against? Okay, then that motion passes and we are done for our May meeting, and I will see you guys in June after all the craziness is hopefully worn off. Be a little more relaxed. Bye, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Laura.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.